Have you ever noticed that your motivation magically appears only for future you, never for the you who wants to start today? Well, there's a very real reason your brain prefers Monday you over right now you. Today we're exploring why we constantly wait for the perfect moment to change our lives. Monday, the new month, the new year, or that imaginary fresh chapter where everything will finally fall into place. And spoiler, it has almost nothing to do with laziness and almost everything to do with how your brain is wired. Let's start with a simple truth. Your brain hates discomfort. Any change, even a good one, means spending energy, facing uncertainty, and doing something unfamiliar. And your brain, especially the older survival-focused parts of it, is designed to save energy, avoid unnecessary risks, and stick to routines. So when you think, I should start working out, or maybe I should stop scrolling for 2 hours in bed, your brain interprets it as a threat. This sounds hard. Not today. Tomorrow will be better. This isn't a character flaw, it's biology. Another key player here is the prefrontal cortex, the part that handles self-control, planning, and discipline. Great part of the brain, amazing in theory, but it tires easily. Meanwhile, the dopamine system, the one that pushes you toward instant rewards, works 24/7 and screams, "Let's choose what feels good right now." And between reward now and benefit later, your brain picks the first one almost every time. So why Monday? Why the new month, the new year, or that imaginary fresh chapter where everything will finally fall into place? And spoiler, it has almost nothing to do with laziness, and almost everything to do with how your brain is wired. Let's start with a fresh start effect. Your brain loves symbolic moments. Mondays feel like clean pages. A new month feels like a reset button. And a new year? That's the Olympics of new beginnings. These transitions trick your brain into thinking that past you and future you are two different people. Like the old one made mistakes, but the new one will somehow be better, stronger, more motivated, and unreasonably productive. It's a cognitive illusion, but a comforting one. This ties perfectly into the next concept, the future self bias. When you imagine yourself in the future, your brain sees a better version of you. You're calmer, fitter, more organized, more disciplined, and, honestly, kind of unrealistic. Future you is like a superhero who wakes up at 6 a.m. with no alarm and eats salad voluntarily. Meanwhile, present you can't decide whether to wash the dishes now or pretend they don't exist. There's also a sneaky neural trick. Planning feels like progress. It gives you a dopamine hit without requiring action. That's why buying new planners, making vision boards, or writing elaborate to-do lists feels amazing. Your brain rewards the idea of change almost as much as the change itself. It's like eating healthy in your mind. And that's why it's so easy to think, I'll start next week, because the planning phase already gave you the emotional payoff. But there's another deeper layer, self-protection. If you start something today and fail tomorrow, it feels like a personal failure. But if you start next Monday and fail on Tuesday, it doesn't feel as painful. It was just a bad week. I wasn't ready. The timing wasn't right. Symbolic dates protect your self-esteem. Starting today carries more emotional risk, so your brain avoids it. Your brain also hates uncertainty. When you say, I'll start today, there's pressure. You don't know whether you'll succeed, whether you'll have time, whether you can stick to it. But I'll start next Monday gives you the illusion of preparation. It feels like you're giving yourself space to mentally get ready, even though you're not preparing at all. It's just procrastination dressed nicely. Another reason is that we confuse motivation with circumstances. We think the right moment creates the right mindset, that if the date is fresh, the mood will be fresh too. But motivation doesn't come from the calendar, it comes from action. And action is the one thing your brain resists the most in the beginning. There's also the illusion of control. Choosing a date, especially a symbolic one, makes you feel organized and intentional. It feels like you're taking charge of your life. But choosing is not doing. Choosing is easy. Doing is uncomfortable. Studies show something surprising. Starting on random days, not Mondays, not the first day of a month, actually leads to more consistent success. Why? Because when you start randomly, you rely on reality, not fantasy. You activate the action circuits in your brain, not the planning ones. You form habits that grow from actual behavior, not imagined behavior. Once you do the first tiny step, your brain starts shifting. The threat decreases. The effort feels more manageable. The internal resistance drops. So why do we always wait for next week or next month or next year? Because it's easier, because it's safer, because the future feels cleaner than the present, because planning feels good, because symbolic dates make our messy human lives look more structured, and mostly because our brains are wired to avoid discomfort in the present by outsourcing responsibility to the future. But here's the twist. The perfect moment doesn't exist. There's no magical Monday, no clean slate created by a calendar. The only real fresh start your brain understands is a tiny action today that breaks the pattern. And the funny thing? The less perfect the moment feels, the more powerful it actually is. That's the moment when you're not relying on illusion, but on choice. When you act not because it's symbolic, but because it's real.